Hi, welcome back. If you're a returning viewer or if you just stumbled across us, big hello for the first time. So, this video is with relation to exporting from the UK, but more importantly, importing into Cyprus. We decided to purchase a new car, well, newish, decent second-hand one, and bring it across when we relocated. The main reason being that the second-hand price of cars in Cyprus is quite expensive, it's fair to say. Anybody that's looked into it will concur with that. So we decided to do that. We had several quotes. So what's it going to cost? Well, anywhere from £1,500 up to £5,000, £6,000, £7,000. And now that depends on what type of vehicle you've got, whether you want a container to yourself, whether you're adding furniture to it, whether you want to go on the Ro-Ro route, which is basically strapping your vehicle to a ship deck. Didn't fancy that, didn't fancy being exposed to sea salt for weeks on end. And once you've agreed a price, then you go from there. Generally speaking, what they require is the V5 form sending and also copies of your passports. That kind of kicks the process off. We did that, and then the next thing they'll probably ask for is a deposit. Again, we did that. That was, for your information, £700 to get the ball rolling, shall we say. The car was collected and put into a warehouse in the Midlands, and that's where the things started to go a little bit wrong, shall we say. From our point of view, we could track the vehicle, we could track the ship that it was on, obviously. That never happened. We were fudged in the information, so we never knew when it was setting off. So that affected us at this end. Shall we hire a car? Shall we lease a car? Shall we not bother? The information was really difficult to get hold of. So it was like pulling teeth, basically. So we didn't know where the vehicle was at any one time. So that was a frustration. We've also been asked to scan documents several times, even though we've sent them in however many formats that you could think of, and sometimes 3, 4, 5 documents in one email in the same format. Some they found, some they didn't. So for me, it's admin speak for, we've lost the last email, can you send us another? So we did all that, and eventually 40 days after it was picked up, we got confirmation that the vehicle or the ship that it was on was in Limassol. And so now we have to go fairly quickly to get the documents that we need to be able to drive said vehicle on Cypriot Road. So that's what we're going to do later on. Overall, I'm not going to name the company because that's probably not fair, because they might redeem themselves. I've been disappointed with the lack of information, the lack of clarity. So, for instance, you send some documents on a Friday and you hear nothing back, no acknowledgement that they've got the emails, no acknowledgement that there's been a problem, and then a week later, literally a week later in some cases, they'll come back and go, oh, we can't open this one, we can't do that one. So it's another week down the line. It's frustrating. It is actually frustrating. And when we asked them when they were picking it up in the UK, they couldn't give us a specific date. In our case, the road insurance was due to run out, the annual insurance for the car. So we had to get short term to cover it, but we didn't know how long to get it. And obviously anybody that's done short term car insurance knows that they've got you by the short and curlies. They know you need it for 2-3 days, 2-3 weeks, and they charge a good chunk towards an annual fee. So that's what we had to do, unfortunately, but that is what it is. So what's it cost? Well, in our case, the shipping of the vehicle was £3,000. Okay. On top of that, and on the journey in between, the shipping company don't cover your car under their insurance. So you've got to then get marine insurance while it's on the ship. So that's another £200 or so. So that's 3,200. On top of that, Mr. Trump and the Ayatollahs in Iran cost us another £200 because there was a fuel surcharge levied by the shipping company. So that's 3,400 so far to get our car back. Now you might think, wow, that's a lot of money, but like I said to you, if you look at the second-hand car prices in Cyprus, 3,400 on top of the vehicle price that we paid, I think might turn out to be a reasonable value, because we can't sell it for 3 years, but looking at the prices of second-hand cars here, it will hold its value, I think, or will get very close to it. And even if we have to ship it back and pay another £3,000, it is what it is. On the plus side, we've been able to fill the vehicle with goodies, so microwaves, air fryers, jigsaws if you want, rugs. It's surprising what you can get in a Vauxhall Astra. So all the bits and pieces. What you can't bring in, of course, is alcohol, tobacco or food. If customers rifle through that, they will charge you a fortune. One of the main things to remember is do your research. If you've just bought a new vehicle or newish vehicle and are using it as your part of your relocation, you won't pay tax. However, if you don't have use of it for 6 months from the purchase date to the date you leave, then they can charge you fees, and they will charge you fees. They'll look through your passports, they will deduct the days off. So we've heard of instances of people who have bought a car to relocate to Cyprus, had it for 6 months, so they think they've ticked all the boxes, but they've forgotten that somewhere along the line they've gone to a mate's stag do in Benidorm for 3 or 4 days over the weekend. That's deducted. That is deducted, so it's really important that you calculate your days, otherwise customs, being customs, anywhere in the world will go, welcome to Cyprus, here's a bill. So just be aware of that, guys. So we're about to head off to Limassol later on this morning, and hopefully we can get a release document and go on to the next stage. Hope this has been helpful. If anybody wants any more information, something I haven't covered, let us know in your comments. Send us an email and we'll get in touch with you, and we'll try our very best to give you our experience. But the main thing is, check on your shipping. Don't just take the first quote. Don't check the cheapest either, because the service they offer might be a lot less than the ones who are a little bit more expensive. Just be prepared to chase for information, scan and rescan, send and resend your documents, and then possibly even go into their office and photocopy it in front of them. Give them hard copies, etc, etc. That's the frustration. So anyway, hopefully Limassol port later on will be okay. We shall see. So, approximately how many weeks since we last saw the vehicle?
5, 6.
6, just shy of 6. We have been summoned to Customs House at Limassol, not to collect the car, but just to do some paperwork admin and hopefully get the release paper shown that the documents we've got are genuine, i.e. we own the vehicle, the passports are in order, etc, etc. We've got some insurance at the Cypriot side. So it's probably about an hour away on the A6, so hopefully we meet the agent and then go to customs and start the next part of the process. But just to reiterate, we are not expecting to get the vehicle this morning, it just moves to the next stage. So let's see how we get on. Contra-flowed roadworks, just like being back in the UK. Oh, there we go. managed to get into Limassol now, one of the big two cities in Cyprus, along of course with the capital Nicosia. So if city life is for you, this might be preferable to Paphos. So just approaching the port, and hopefully our man Stelios is waiting. Not know whether he's wearing a pink carnation or not, but we shall see. So in the distance we've got the bridge of a ship, so I presume we've arrived at the port of Limassol. Not a bad run through from Paphos, and just over there is Customs House where we've got to do the paperwork. So we're a little bit early, so we're just waiting for our agent, and hopefully it runs very smoothly. In theory it should do, but this is Cyprus, isn't it not? We shall see. Right then, Limassol Customs hopefully dealt with, back home now. So what can you expect? So if you're driving in, just a quick bit of info there. The last little roundabout, straight towards the main port gates, look right, there's a car park there. At the end of that car park there is a pretty drab looking building. That is Customs House. That's where you need to be. Around the side there, follow the Cyprus and EU flags, and the entranceway is just down there. So what can you expect? Well, you get met by your shipping agent if you've got one, if you've arranged it through that. They then go into their office with you and check your passport again, check your driving license again, check your V5 document from the UK again, and check your Cyprus road insurance again. They were all photocopied again, and they also checked your passport stamp. So the owner of the vehicle will be asked to provide movement in and out of Cyprus up to 2 years prior to you arriving on your one-way ticket. That's to see where you might fall foul of potentially not having use of your vehicle. So once that's done, you then go into the Customs House. It's up on the first floor. If you're doing it yourself, it's easy to find. Up on the first floor, corridor right at the far end, there's a big purple sign which says duty free vehicles. There's a lot of little hatches. In our case, the agent does his thing, has a word, they take the documents. He then comes back to you and says, right, okay, it's going to take an hour to an hour and 20. Once you've signed everything and got the documents that they give you back, come back to our office. Luckily, there is, in the middle of the building, there's a cafe, so you can go down there and relax. It's not exactly 4-star Michelin, it's more a transport cafe with people almost zombie-like wandering backwards and forwards across a courtyard with bits of A4 paper. Ironically enough, later on we joined them with bits of paper going backwards and forwards. So we had a break, we had a bit of a people watch, people shouting and swearing and laughing and ticking boxes and all the rest of that. Went back up, and the process of customs was fairly straightforward and very helpful. Signed a few more documents, and then we got the main piece of paper in our hand, which I think is a C1040, which basically gives you the right to import your car temporarily, and it gives you a 3-month window to drive on the roads. Don't need to, in fact you can't register your car in Cyprus, i.e. you can't get Cypriot plates, you can't pay for road tax. What's not to like about that one for now. And that basically, that 3 months window is for customs then to give you the final okay to say, yeah, this car can stay in Cyprus and you can register it, which then leads on to going to the road transport department and getting your plates and stuff like that, but we'll cover that in another video. So we've got all of that document. We then go back to the agent. They take some of the paperwork off us, including that document, and that's kind of signed off, and that was us done for that part of the procedure. What happens now is the vehicle should be then moved from Limassol to the last 50-60 kilometres or whatever it is into Paphos warehouse, where we then wait for a customs official to come, basically crack open the container, look at the vehicle, and depending what they decide to do with it, i.e. from an inspection point of view, i.e. looking through the boot, or they might just tick it off and go, yeah, this looks good, that's all right, your inventory seems accurate, will then determine what customs charge we get. So yesterday cost us nothing except the time and effort to get there. How long did it take? I would say allow 2 to 3 hours. So don't think it's a case of you've scanned all your documents to your agent, you've scanned all your documents to your shipping company, you'll just go in, you'll get a couple of stamps and off you go. It's not like that, it's Cyprus. So be prepared to spend, including travelling if you're coming from Paphos, half a day in there. On the plus side, and for those devotees of retail, we did reward ourselves afterwards with a visit to the mini IKEA in Limassol, quite a useful place, and their version of Jumbo. So anybody that's been in the Paphos ones knows exactly what I'm about. The good thing, guys, if the missus is dragging you around, is it's all on one floor. Still doesn't stop you coming out with bag loads of crap, but it's all on one floor. So we wait now, apparently the agent, maybe 1 to 2 weeks before we can actually physically get hold of our own vehicle. So that would be then probably about 2 months from it being picked up, but it is progress. We passed the first stage, they're quite happy with all our documents, and we'll update you as we go along and get our hands on our own car at long last. Thanks for tuning in, hope this has been useful. If you like, please do so. If you want to comment, if you want to email us, that's absolutely fine. And if you'd like to subscribe, thank you very much. I'll have a Keo, it's actually water, but thanks for tuning in.